I know, you're probably wondering if I'm crazy just from reading the title of this video, but hear me out. It's not entirely impossible. Now, before we get into this video, make sure you leave a like because that's what YouTube really likes apparently, but let's just get into the damn video. And also a spoiler warning for anime onlys because there will be manga spoilers in this video. So yeah, proceed with caution. Right. I'm sure it's pretty much common knowledge that Saitama so far in One Punch Man has not found an opponent that has clearly shown feats that are capable of harming him. Of course, there are characters / beings in the series that we still haven't seen the full potential of, such as, God and Blast, but so far Saitama has been the strongest character we have seen in One Punch Man. But what if I told you that although Saitama compared to 99% of the verse is strong beyond belief, that he can still somehow be beaten? One Punch Man is a parody and purposefully makes Saitama broken to the point that he's unmatched. But I feel like there are moments when One Punch Man becomes a lot more serious and is not all fun and games, which of course I also love because the shift between serious and the parody side of One Punch Man keeps the series interesting. And since One Punch Man by nature is a pretty fucking dumb series that doesn't take itself too seriously most of the time, makes it unpredictable when you will receive these serious moments, which again, in my opinion, keeps the series interesting and fresh. Now, considering this fact, I'm sure we will eventually come across someone who is capable of possibly beating Saitama, and I know it sounds crazy, but I feel like to make One Punch Man even better, it would be nice to be introduced to a character that is on par in terms of strength with Saitama, and you never know, that person could be Blast or God or someone or thing that we still have yet to be introduced to. The probability Blast is the person I am talking about is very high because Blast has been hyped up for over 100 chapters in the manga, and now that he has finally been revealed and we have finally gotten a glimpse of what he can do, leads me to believe he is the person that could possibly match Saitama in strength in some way, shape or form. Blast at the moment seems to have an ability that is based around space or spatial type of ability that seems to be a very strong power, to say the least. I have made a video in the past on who is stronger between Saitama and Blast, and in that video I pretty much said Saitama would win. You can check that video out if you want, but do bear in mind that the video was made before the reveal of Blast. Now, although the title says Saitama is not unbeatable, doesn't mean he's able to be beaten by more than one person or even be able to be beaten easily. I personally feel like the word beaten is a stretch when talking about a fight that includes Saitama. I would rather say Saitama can be matched in a fight, but because of course if you watch One Punch Man, then you would know that surviving one punch against Saitama pretty much immediately makes you like top 10 strongest in the series, and I'm not even joking. I know from the perspective of someone who doesn't watch One Punch Man or has recently started it, this may sound ridiculous, but I'm not even fucking with you. If you are somehow able to survive more than one punch from Saitama, you're instantly top 10 in the series, and I'm sure any other person who reads One Punch Man can agree on that. Anyway, also, when speaking on the topic of an entity that can match Saitama's strength, I would actually throw God up as, a potential entity that could do that. God recently got introduced into the One Punch Man story, and although we haven't seen the full extent of his abilities, I'm sure it's safe to say God is probably top 3 most powerful characters in the series so far, and there's actually a pretty solid reason for that. And that is because when God, or more specifically, God's cube was revealed to be present, Blast actually for once shows up, and we all know that Blast only shows up for one reason, and that reason is if there's a God level threat nearby. And this wasn't even God itself, it was just God's cube, which means Blast sees this cube from God as a God level threat or something that is dangerous enough that warrants him to show up. And I'm sure in this case it's more of if the cube falls into the hands of the wrong person that it would then be deemed very, very dangerous, which is why Blast appeared before this cube could possibly fall into the wrong hands. For example, any of the Cadres or Psychos, but if the cube is dangerous enough for Blast to show up, then that must mean God himself is definitely a God level threat or even above that, which is why I feel like God is already top 3 strongest characters, not to mention its name is God, meaning it's probably nigh omnipotent and omniscient. Plus, there's another ability that God has shown to be able to do in the webcomic, and I will advise manga onlys to skip like 20 or 30 seconds ahead to not be spoiled. In the webcomic, as we all know, God has the ability to give other people powers, and an example of that is obviously Homeless Emperor. Now, knowing this, I'm sure it's definitely safe to say God is a candidate that could match Saitama in strength just from these things alone, and considering there's still so much more to the story of One Punch Man, that could mean we could see more characters that rise up that could potentially be candidates for matching Saitama in strength. But that's pretty much it for this video. I'm back to my regular schedule, so I'm not going to disappear for 3 weeks again because, you know, exams or tests or whatever you want to call it have finished. So yeah, I'm finally back and I can finally release videos like I used to. But apart from that, if you like the video, make sure you leave a like and subscribe with notifications turned on and set to all. And with that being said, I will see you in my next video.